I'm going live. I'm live. I'm live. I don't have any eyebrows today because I didn't put them on. Just an FYI. So if anybody's wondering, this is what happens when you get older. Not old, but older. Your eyebrows disappear. It's true. I always wondered, when I was younger, in my 20s and stuff, and I'd see older women and then they would just draw this line there. A lot of them had this line here. It would be like a auburn brown or black, and they would just draw it right here. And it'd be like, oh, well, why are they drawing in their eyebrows? And I wasn't big on plucking my eyebrows and stuff. So, but it's amazing what happens over the years. Anyways, that was my intro. It was all about my eyebrows, right? So welcome everybody. My name is Mary June Tracy. I'm the psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and an astrologer. Coming to you with the 411 of the shenanigans of the planets and the world around you, and bringing you some interesting news of the chaos that is happening around. And hey, we're entering into Scorpio season. Woohoo! My birthday! Woot 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 woot! So Scorpio season is beginning, and with that, we have a square over to Pluto, and an opposition with the Moon to Pluto and Mars as well, because Mars is going to be in a 6 month, basically, over the next 6 months. He's going to be in this opposition to Pluto, so it's going to be like, oh, intensity. Arr. So we have this crazy intensity that's there. We also have a trying to think of what else is happening. Oh, yeah. Lilith with Apollo together in Libra, which is an interesting combo. And that's really bringing in a lot of toxicity when it comes to relationships. So, really being aware of what could be bubbling up or coming to the surface right now. And especially as, the sun is going into Scorpio. I mean, this is all Scorpio's fixed. So fixed ideas, fixed, what do you fixate it upon? Right? So when you look at the energies of Scorpio, usually when you are making or trying to make a decision and the energies from Libra and you go into Scorpio, it it's like, okay, I got it. Like that decision comes, it becomes more easier to make because it feels like whatever you were working on or whatever you were doing on, now you just say, yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing, and not being as fixated upon it, because Libra can get you extremely fixated upon energies, right? So, yeah. Oh, good morning, Charlie. Thank you for joining me. I was just here talking to myself for a while. Talked about my eyebrows. You missed that part. So, but being that fixated energy that's coming in. And I feel like it's, you know, the tiredness of people, the fatigue of everything. And where a lot of with the emotions for people are right on the surface. So things can trigger people very easily right now. And as we come in, we have to really be aware of that, of what's coming in. I was looking over some of the highlights with the news. Let's see if I can bring some stuff up. I'm not going to show anything. Oh, I got a video taken down from 2021. Uh, yeah, whatever. You get to a point where it's like, what? Why are you taking down so much? So, yeah, so they must have been going through a lot of my stuff and they took that down of what's going on. So, a few things that are coming in. Well, we're at the peak season with the election, with about 13 days left. There is Ireland was without power. Cuba is still without power. Um, there was stuff being leaked to Iran, which I think the thing is that a lot of things are being hacked, but they're not going to say they're hacked. They're going to be leaked. So I think there was something to do with the government. Some hacking that happened with the government got leaked to Iran. So I thought that was interesting. So a lot, of the chaos and the craziness is all coming to the surface. And I was having a talk with somebody yesterday who came into the store, and he was sitting, and I don't know, somehow politics got into it. I didn't bring it up. He brought it up about politics, and he goes, since he's been living in Alberta, how conservative Alberta is, and that he's leaning to becoming more conservative, but he's still on the fence. And it kind of made me think, but he was thinking of all, it's like, and this is what people have to be aware of, is all the handouts that supposedly are being given out. So he's looking at all these different handouts that the government are doing, yet in the same breath, how much the government's taking away, like taking away your rights, taking away a lot of freedoms from you. And that's, just listening to him speak yesterday and stuff, where he was talking about some of the programs that the Liberals did, the Jacob program, and I'm not too familiar with it. I should get familiar with it, and a few other ones. And I was just like, okay, this is where I have to, I come in and I'm like, okay, what about community? I think this is where it's really important to connect and have community, because right now, I mean, with all the some of the cutbacks that are happening, especially within the government, to the seniors. Of course, this affects me because I'm getting old. All right, people, I'm getting there. But in the next 12 years, there's going to be 1 in 4 seniors. Think of that. So every there's 4 people, one of them is going to be a senior. And that's in 12 years. And so when we look at what kind of what do we have for them, right? What do we have for them? Right now here in Calgary, there was a 94-year-old man, 94, and he was being evicted. Being evicted. And he's fully like cognitive and mobile, and he gets around and stuff. But they said all the facilities are, filled. And he really didn't have family to take him in. And I'm just thinking, 94, and you're being evicted. And there's nothing, supposedly, the government or the um, social network can do. So actually, there has been a few people step up in the community, within the community, to assist him, to help him, and say, "Hey, no, we'll find. Well, we got a place for you to live." That and a place to live. I mean, sure, assisted living and stuff, but a place to live that is clean and warm, and um, you can actually live there. Right? Those are the things that, when we're looking at societal things, and especially as we're going into the Pluto with Aquarius, these societal pieces are really going to make an abruptness within our lives. It's going to be coming into our face. This is where it's like, okay, our social net, what we felt our social net was within our own country, Canada. We thought it was pretty secure, but is it? It isn't. It's failing. It's breaking. And that's again part of Pluto at the end of Aquarius. And then we have, with that Mars opposition over the next 6 months, is really going to get us to really look at, where is our comfort? What is our comfort? Are we in a safety and security? Many people don't think about, okay, what's going to happen when I'm 60? What's going to happen when I'm 70? Well, in the next 12 years, I'll be going on, well, I'll be about 73. So I will be 73. So this is where it's like, okay, to think about that. Okay, where will you be at 73? Are you going to be safe and secure? Right now, I have no fucking idea. Is that scary? Yeah, that's really scary. Is there a social, component? No, there isn't. Because they're even looking at, when it comes to a lot of things that are going on, that within the next 5 years, 6 years, there's not going to be enough people working within our labor to be able to support old age security, CPP, and other things that you pay for. Like part of your paycheck goes into that. Where does it go? It doesn't go into some little private um, investment bank, right? It just goes to the government. And it's not only that you pay for it off of your paycheck, but the people who employ you have to pay, that plus extra, right? So this is where it's like, okay, all of this, with energies that are coming in, the frequencies that are coming in, with the sun coming into um Scorpio, this is where, a lot of that X factor that I was talking about, the X marks the spot, is coming forward, it's coming up. Oh, I got breakfast. Oh my goodness. I got breakfast. Ooh, that's my bacon. So, I ain't going to be very long. But this is what we have to start looking at. And this is part of the responsibility. This is part of the preparedness. And it is difficult. It is frustrating because we feel like we, as Canadians, should be reliant. Yet they have brought in a lot of cheap labor into our country, what they call cheap labor, of people being exposed. But it's not where thinking that this is going to be helpful for the country and bring forth a better life in our country, yet it's not doing what it wants to do. You can look at Sweden right now. I mean, that's a prime example. Where after World War II was one of the richest countries because it didn't get bombed, right? And even Switzerland. This is where they have huge immigration. They open their borders, but now they're having problems with, and it's not first generation, it's second generation that's coming into the country that haven't been assimilated, right? And meaning that they have not embraced the traditions of Switzerland or Sweden. And this is where it's like, then you have to start defining it. It's like if you go to a Muslim country or something like that, when you go to there, there's a definition on this is what we expect you to do, this is what we expect you to be, this is what we expect you to learn. Here it's like, oh, well, you can go learn what you want, you can go do what you want, and then we expect them to behave in a certain way, yet they're not behaving in that way because we have allowed them, whoever them are, to create their own society within a society as a whole, right? They didn't come in where many years ago, like even with my sister-in-law or even my father, when when my family immigrated into Canada, they knew, what was expected of them, what they had to learn. All of this was all part of it, right? And here we are at, and I'm going to bring back the Pluto at the end of Capricorn, that is getting people to really take a look at what is your truth? What is your truth in your foundation? Capricorn is the community. Everybody thinks it's Aquarius, but it's Capricorn. You need that community in order to go out to the social, in order to go out and be a part of the world around you. And that's why there's so much craziness, so much disruption, is because people are unable to define the truth of what it is within their community. What is their belief? People don't even want to say the word Jesus because they're afraid they're going to be condemned, which is really weird because now we're going back to 1 AD. where Christians were persecuted, right? So being persecuted because you said the word Jesus. You can't silently pray on a corner, right? So and if you look at United States, even though to keep God out of the government, but in God we trust. In God we trust, right? So we know that there's a power above us. Yet the fundamentals of North America and Western civilization is based on Christianity and Judaism. That is the foundation of the founding fathers, of how we were created. Now, right or wrong, because of course you can get into First Nations and everything else, and we can get into that. Okay, but I'm not bringing that. That's the same way in England, in Ireland, in Scotland. It is based on Christianity and Judaism, yet that is being tossed aside because people are too embarrassed about it. Here comes Pluto in Capricorn. So you're embarrassed on being who you are and the fundamentals of what your values are, on what your belief systems are, and what you truly believe. Because we don't, and here's the whole thing, people break away from religion. Why? Because we don't want to be controlled. We don't want to be told what to do. So we hand over our power to the government. So you hand over your power to a government who doesn't believe in a higher power. They only believe in themselves and what they want and where they want to go and what they can do. They don't give a shit on how to spend the money because it's not their money, right? So they're not being held accountable. Yet we have pushed away the accountability of others who want to bring forth something that is humanely positive, to bring forth that community. Now, when I always say community, it's like you have to define what your community is. What are your values within your community? You can't just let in any riffraff, you know, of saying, "Oh, well, I want this and I want that." No, I want my community to be a foundation with God, and I want to put God above. I want to bring in a foundation of values and beliefs that respect not only women, respect men, and respect children. So the respect, the understanding, now how to have that respect, you have to have the respect within oneself first. You can't go around expecting other people to respect you when you're being a fucking asshole. Like, it doesn't work that way. But we have a society right now that really wants it that way and allowing that way. So here, as we are entering into Scorpio season, as we're entering into Scorpio season, this is where the values come in. This is where, because the fixation, what are you fixed on? What is it that you are trying to do and what you are trying to create? Because you are 100% responsible for your own reality. And that's coming into, there are factors that we can't control. There's certain things I can't control within the government that I would love to control, but I can't. It's not in my power. I can speak out about it. I could talk about it. I could try to inform people about it. And that's what I can do. And that's spreading the word. And this is so important for many of us to really begin to start to look at what you want to create in this world, because you can't sit around and be bystanders anymore and be afraid. As if you sit there and be afraid and that you're going to offend somebody, you're the one who's going to be the most offended. So, on that note, I'm going to send you out with so much love because I'm going to eat my breakfast, and I'm going to send you out with so much peace and love and joy. And may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all you say and all you do. If you're wanting a reading, definitely get a hold of me and we will get you booked in. All right. So, have a blessed one, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.